Looks like we are live. Let me go over here and try to find the stream over here and refresh a couple times like I normally do. Here it is. Rolex prices falling. We're starting a little bit earlier today so that some of the folks in Europe can watch. Brian is in the house. Brian is first. That's a first. Well, there you go. Darth Vader is in super early. Yeah, yeah. Trevor's been dethroned, absolutely. Yeah, we're starting early today because, of course, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. And we have a few things to talk about. And also, I wanted to be on early enough so the folks in Moscow and other parts of Europe can watch at a more convenient time occasionally. David's in the house. Happy Thanksgiving. There's a lot to give thanks for, no doubt. But here's the thing. I've heard some scuttlebutt and some rumors that the prices on the steel sport Rolexes are starting to let me mute the computer. Sorry about that. Are starting to collapse, are starting to fall. That there's some weakening in this super aggressive steel sport Rolex market. Beautiful Maryland afternoon. Indeed. So this was from a pretty decent source, pretty reliable source, that there was a steel sport model Rolex at an AD for sale, and he was offered 10% off. And he asked me if he should take it. And I told him that on a steel Rolex brand new, I would like to get 20% off. But of course, this is very rare for one to even be available at even full sticker price. But supposedly it was a steel sub date, and he could get 10% off at an AD. So Rolex retail prices are to go up 5% in 2019. Yeah, but I think the market it might be catching up to itself here. It might be getting soft. So what do you all think? Are you all hearing about the market getting a little bit soft on the steel Rolexes? Let's do a time check while we're waiting here. Bring up camera 3. There's a time check, and we'll do a freeze frame. That helps you all tell. I'm going to do it right at 20 seconds. I'm going to try a little bit before on the diver. And it looks like it's a hair before on the Apple Watch. It looks like they're right in sync. I cannot tell a difference from the view that, from the view that I've got here. Now, again, the camera angle can throw that off a little bit. We just unfroze it. Rolex price, okay. You still hear, you weirdo. Here's the thing, too. I got some advice for the channel. I got some advice for the channel here. And it came from a guy with 4 subscribers. So most of his videos have about 2 views each. So what do you guys think? Should I take some advice from a guy with 4 subscribers for my channel here? What do you guys think? I know Pepsi, ceramic GMT scalping prices are starting to soften. Gotcha. Down from 20 grand to 18. By the way, I posted a few more photos to my Flickr, to the set I have for clothing, for high-end clothing items. And this is a shirt. I don't wear that often. This is by Turnbull and Asher. See, it has what they call the barrel sleeve with the 3 buttons. See that? And, of course, the gold watch goes right underneath there, no problem. It is a little bit more snug under this one because this barrel sleeve is rather snug. So that's one of the reasons why I don't wear it that often. I mean, I can get the watch to come out, but it's not that easy. I have to kind of go like this, which is kind of cheating, you know, to read the time. Some shirts are just really tight on the wrist. I mean, there's no way you could get a Submariner underneath that puppy. I can tell you that right now. No freaking way. So some of them, although this is a really nice shirt, I mean, these retail for like $300. I don't wear it that often for that reason. The other reason is it doesn't have a pocket. It's got no pocket. Okay? So nowhere to put my DuPont, either one of my DuPont pens. I have to put them inside the sport coat pocket here, all right, which I can do that. And by the way, this sport coat is cashmere, 100% cashmere, and I put a photo of it in the photo set together with a photo of the label. I did this on all the high-end clothes that I put in that set. I took a picture of the clothing item and a picture of the label, so in case any of y'all want to try to snag one at a deal somewhere, you'll know what to look for. Is that a custom shirt, Craig? No, it was not custom made. It's a Turnbull and Asher. I think they do make custom also, but this is an off-the-rack. They retail for about $300 off the rack, not custom. You can find them some places discounted to like $220, new, brand new. Yeah, I'll put a link in the chat to the photos. So in case you want to, actually, and I'll also cut to the photos here in a second. Let me get them to load here on my laptop. Because the good news is if you keep your eyes open, you can snag some of these things at a deal. And there's nothing wrong with getting a deal. Okay? Nothing wrong with getting a deal. That's what the guy said. The guy said I shouldn't imitate Archie. I shouldn't repeat like Archie does. I think it's funny. A guy with 4 subscribers giving me advice on how to run my channel. Okay, so here I go, Brian. I'm going to put a link in the chat to the set. And in the meantime, I'm going to cut to the set here. We're going to go through some things real quick. This is the photo set that I put up on my Flickr. And all these photos are public. So we'll go through them here. And that's a sport coat. And you see there, that's the label. H. Freeman & Sons is a nice high-end brand out of Philadelphia. There's another jacket. That's a Harris Tweed. And you can see that's by Powers & Good. But a lot of people will tailor a Harris Tweed sport coat. I like the ones that are made in the USA. But you get some that are made in England or even Scotland that are really good. There's a cashmere sport coat. And there's the label. So see, not only have I taken pictures of the item, but also the labels, so you'll know what you're looking for. There's a suit from the Georgetown University shop by Corbin, tailored by Corbin. So any Corbin suits, they could have, Georgetown University shop, they just put their label on there, right, with their name. But Corbin makes for various high-end men's stores. There's another one. That one also came from the Georgetown University shop. I used to buy a lot of clothes from there. Here's a camel hair sport coat from Macy's. Okay, just 100% camel hair. And there's a jacket. I think that was made in England. Yep, made in England. You can see there's the name of it. A lot of stuff made in England is going to be good stuff. I mean, just going to be that way. And there's a Harris Tweed jacket that was made in Ireland. Donegal hand woven. Camel hair. That one is made of cashmere, wool, and mohair. And maybe that was not a Harris Tweed, but I think it might have been Harris Tweed woven. I'm not sure on that one. But there you go. And there's a camel hair sport coat. It came from a place on Cape Cod. So you can access all these photos. These photos are public in a set that I put up for luxury clothing. There's a suit. Neiman Marcus, of course, is a high-end name here in the U.S. I don't know if they're international. There's another Harris Tweed jacket that I use often. Harris Tweed jackets wear like iron. Lord & Taylor's was a men's store. I think they're out of business. Again, Harris Tweed, see, tailored in the USA. There's another one that's also from the same place, Lord & Taylor. I used to shop there pretty regular. There's another suit from Georgetown University shop. Oak Loom Clothes. So that's a different, that's not Corbin. But again, same place. Solken Company, they do some high-end shirts. And there's one from a company out of Beverly Hills. And then Nordstrom's, they do some really nice shirts. You can get some really nice shirts from Nordstrom's. Kenneth Gordon, really good name. Remember that name, Kenneth Gordon? They make some great shirts. Of course, Saks Fifth Avenue, high-end. Again, Nordstrom. And there's some ties. I think... Oh, you know what? You photo stream. I don't think I refreshed this because it didn't show the new one. Let's see. Hickey Freeman. Yeah, here are the new ones. I don't think I showed these. Okay. These are the pictures I just uploaded today. So there's a Cashmere sport coat by Hickey Freeman. Okay. Again, high end. Here's a Harris Tweed by Polo. And there's the coat I have on right now. 100% cashmere. There's the brand. Okay. So total transparency, you can see Hart, Shafter, and Marks. That's a high-end suit. Hart, Shafter, and Marks. And then there's the shirt, Turnbull and Asher. There's the shirt. And then we're back to other goodies. So there you go. That's and I put the link in the chat. So any of you all that want to take a look. Okay, so I'm going to address questions here. Enjoy wool clothing, though do not wear it much in the desert. Yeah, if it's too hot where you are, yeah. Wore it a lot when lived in cooler seasonal climates. Hi, Craig. Title says Rolex prices are falling. What makes you say that? I got a report that, and this was from a fairly reliable source, that an authorized dealer had a Submariner date in stock for sale, and they offered a 10% discount. What canvas has your sport jacket? What canvas has your sport jacket you're wearing? I don't understand that question. Darth Vader, I don't understand that question. There's a, like I say, on the photos that I just put the link in, there's a close-up photo of the label and all that. This is cashmere, really soft, really comfortable. And relatively warm, but not that heavy. That's the neat thing. This jacket is not that heavy, but it's relatively warm. And it's also forgiving if you go in and out of, like, from cool to warmer, like you go into somebody's home and they've got the heat up pretty high. These still will breathe okay. So it's not like you're going to roast in it. It's kind of forgiving about temperature changes like that. Eric's Learning Show. I sold my pre-owned 116-600 ceramic sea dweller for $9,500. Top of the market, baby. There you go. Build construction of inner layers of jacket. Well, when you get a high-end jacket, the way they get that little bit of a roll is they build into it, like there's horsehair and stuff that gives it some of that shaping. There's things they do that high-end tailors do. I'm not totally up on it, but I mean, the beauty of this stuff is if you want to buy high-end stuff, if you've got a sharp eye Do some searches on eBay and save the searches. And you might be able to stumble across something at a real deal that will fit you, that will be high end. And really, if you go to like thrift stores, that's your best bet, going to thrift stores, because a lot of those people are clueless. They have no clue what they're looking at. And so if you do have a clue, you might be able to go in and pick out some really high-end stuff. You might get lucky. Maybe somebody donated like 4 Cashmere sport coats, right? All at the same time, and they all fit you because they all came from the same person, right? And it's like, you know, if the stuff's in mint condition, I wouldn't buy anything that's damaged or anything like that. But if it's in mint condition, what do you care if it hung in somebody else's walk-in closet for 10 years or something, and they wore it like 2 or 3 times? I mean, some of these wealthy people don't wear things that often. I mean, I've got a big rotation of suits and sport coats and stuff. I don't wear any of them that often, so I'm not going to wear the stuff out. There's a couple jackets I wear more often than others. One, like I said, one Harris Tweed, I actually wore a hole in the elbow, and I had leather patches put on it, but that's the only one I've ever really had wear on. Maybe it was a new watch, old stock. Most places don't have them for any customer. Yeah, but that could be changing. Times, they may be a-changing. You might have heard it here first. It's about time Rolex sports watches started to fall in price. Wouldn't want another sports watch from Rolex. Once you have worn a Grand Seiko, you wouldn't want to go back. Absolutely, you're right. You get a better watch. What do you think about Jongen's watch design and German watchmaker? I'm not really familiar. I just don't know. I just wouldn't have a use for it, because I buy watches to use more as tools. And the way I see it, a Rolex is a good, solid, everyday watch, and then a Grand Seiko just takes it up another level. So I would kind of stick with one of those two. I don't see a need to look outside of that. Now, like I said yesterday, I am going to take a closer look at the Omegas, because I have had an Omega in the past, and I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm going to take a look. High-end Vicuna wood, $4,000 per yard. $50,000 suits. Not sure what that's all about. You know, there are people that spend a ton of money on custom-made clothes and high-end clothes. I mean, you can spend easily 8,000 pounds on a pair of bespoke shoes. So, you know, there's that. You know, I don't know if I have the my main camera on the correct setting. Not sure I do, because I can see some moire on this coat, but I think that's just this system can only handle so much. That's why I try to stay away from wearing the plaids and patterns when I'm broadcasting, because they create that moire. But this is just so comfortable. I didn't want to take it off. I had it on earlier, and I just said, well, what the hell, we'll go with it. Omega's a great brand. Designer watches, header movements. They are nice looking, but not technically all that amazing. Okay. Yeah. So let's do another time check while we got the units here. That up. Another time check. And let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you think that I should take advice from somebody with 4 subscribers on their YouTube channel. If you think that would be a good idea to take advice from somebody with 4 subscribers. Thinking about that. I'm thinking about whether or not I should take his advice. And then we'll talk about DuPont pens next. What do you think about that? Talk about some DuPont pens. So we'll cut off that, because I'm starting to shake the table again. So when you're wearing an 18 karat gold watch. This puppy does not want to come out of here good enough because it's a little bit snug. I'd probably have to violate my rule, which is never put it on the other side of the bone. But with this shirt, that's about the only way to get it really exposed. So, so when you're sporting an 18 karat gold dress watch, all right, you can roll with a DuPont like this. DuPont pen like this is gonna match nicely. Okay, see that? All right, and here's an older one. Here's one that I bought in 1978. Okay. See that? Kind of goes with it too. So a nice DuPont pen. And what's nice about these is if you're doing a deal with someone and they've got to sign a check or something, it's nice to hand them a DuPont pen. And they like the feel of it in their hand and the look of it and all, and they want to write with it, right? So let's say they're hesitating to write out the check to you, but you hand them a nice DuPont pen, that might be enough trigger for them to write that check out. Your LastPass session appears to have expired. Log in. I don't even use LastPass. Who put that on the computer? Okay. Craig, you might think about Panerai Luminor. Panerai. Why in the heck would I buy a Panerai? Put a link in the chat to it. I'll look at it. But I just started. I can tell you now. Oh, okay, wait. Trying to catch up here. I'm not sure what that means. I just started. What do you mean, Eric? Give it a try. Let's see what he has. Okay, let's check the Panerai. Panerai. We're going to pull up a Panerai. Oh, yeah, those are ugly. There's nothing special about that. That's the one with the ugly thing on the side of the case and the squarish case. Let me pull it up here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I mean, what are you trying to do here with this? Are you trying to just design an ugly watch? I mean, hit it with an ugly stick a couple of times. I mean, that's what you're doing there. You got a squarish watch with ugly lugs. And that contraption on the crown, that's just a nightmare. Did you guys see the movie? Did you guys see the movie Scarface with Al Pacino? So you props to make sales. Dress for success, man. You ever hear the Dress for Success? Read the book, man. Montblanc Roller Bar is a nice pen. Yeah, but DuPont takes it to a whole nother level. Go with the DuPont. Haha, thanks, Vader. Panerai really ugly. Not my cup of tea. That's right, this one. To me, Panerai is the Maserati of watches. Italian branded designer, overhyped. Falls short of the competition. There you go. Well, here's the thing. If you guys saw the movie Scarface with Al Pacino, there's a really cool scene where he pulls up in the Cadillac with the leopard print seats and all that stuff, the Cadillac convertible. I think it was like a 64 convertible or something. I don't remember the year, but anyway, he pulls up and Michelle Pfeiffer's there. She's like a knockout, right? She's there. And he wants to give her a ride in the Cadillac. He's trying to impress her with the Cadillac. And she says, "It looks like somebody's nightmare." that's that's what the Panerai is. It looks like somebody's nightmare. What a disaster. They were built for diving as tool. Rolex originally supplied the movements in some of the cases. Yeah, they have an interesting history. That Panerai is one offensive-looking watch. Wouldn't want to drop it on my foot. Well, I mean, a big, heavy sea dweller, or a deep sea or whatever, is a heavy, big, heavy, clunking thing, but I wouldn't want to have that on my wrist either. I mean, I'm looking for a watch I can wear every day in comfort. Seiko SNK 809 as my first automatic watch. Can't wait to wear it. There we go. Yeah, the Porsche showroom. Yeah, the 928. Okay, so let me pull up this watch that Darth Vader's getting. Let me pull it up here. How come I get Hamilton's coming up when I search that? Is that a correct model number? SNK 809? I'm not getting it here. That's weird. I'm getting a bunch of garbage up here. Okay, let me check this one out here. I'm getting bad hits on that model number. Double check that model number. I'm not sure that that's right. Okay, and the next scene showroom. You can own a Grand Seiko. There's your answer. Absolutely. And you can get a deal on them. There's nothing wrong with getting a deal on a luxury watch. There's nothing wrong with that. So, what do you guys think? Put it here so they'll be in focus. What do you guys think about a DuPont? A DuPont pen to go with, come out of there a little bit. Go with this puppy that's just peeking out there a little bit. Think go that route there. I used to carry the thinner one. I used to like the thinner one because it felt better to me, but then I got used to this one. And now I carry this one more. It's a little bit flashier. A little bit flashier. Let's see here. SNK 809. SNK 809. I don't know why it didn't come up, Brian. I did a search for images and I got a whole bunch of other hits like Hamilton's and stuff. Weird. Weird stuff. SNK 809 is Seiko 5. Okay. Well, that sounds like a good watch. No problem there. Let me see it pull it up. I'll just pull up a Seiko 5. And we'll do it that way. It's weird. I'm coming at SNK. It's interesting. Here's an 809. I don't know what the difference is on an 809. Okay, so let's cut to that. See, that's a cool looking watch. Looks like it has a nice shape to the case. 37 mil. Great size for an all-around watch. I think it'd be hard to beat that watch. I wonder if it has a screw-down crown. Looks like it probably doesn't. Yeah. That Panerai is beautiful. Eric, Eric, please stay away from your wallet and your money. Don't make any purchases until you stabilize your judgment, okay? Your judgment is really marginal right now. You're really making some marginal buys, with the exception of that Grand Seiko that you just outright stole. Back away from your wallet, and don't spend any money, because you're going to end up with some dogs. And you got enough of them right now. You got to get rid of some of the dogs before you buy some more dogs. No hand wine or hacking. So what do you mean? Do you mean that you just shake it to get it started? Is that the idea? It's an auto wind and you just shake it to get it started? You can't wind it up? Orient Bambino. Let's take a look. I got an open mind. I'll take a look at these watches. Absolutely, I'll take a look. By the way, I saw another article. These link bait articles. Okay. Orient Bambino version 2. Okay, is this the watch? Is this the watch we're talking about? I kind of like those lugs. See, how much is it? Let's visit this page and see how much it is. $300, sale price $139. That's pretty good. Pretty good sale, I would say. Let's see here. Trying to see what size it is. Oh, 40.5 millimeters. It's a little bit big. It's only 11.8 millimeter thick, though. It's nice and thin. Looks like it'd be a hell of a deal for $139. I kind of like the shape of the case, I mean, and the lugs and stuff. For $139, how can you go wrong? And take the whole family out, you can spend that on a pizza dinner, for gosh sakes. Okay. Has a decent movement, too. Big for a dress watch. Yeah, a little bit big, I would say. Especially since this one doesn't even want to function. Whoops, let me go back to this camera. This one doesn't even want to function that great. And it's tiny, right? I mean, it's like it wants to stay under that cuff in the worst way. It just does not want, I can try to shoot it out there. There, I got it out enough to read it. I could read the time that way. But you really got to shoot it out there to get that puppy to come out from underneath that cuff. These cuffs are pretty tight cuffs. Of course, my wrist is, 7 1/4 inches, between a 7 1/4 and a 7 1/2, depending on the temperature at any given time. You guys, how much does your wrist size change depending on the temperature, whether or not you're in air conditioning or out in humidity, or, a nice warm day or it's a cool winter day? How much does your wrist change in size? Mine will vary by like 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so this link bait article. So this guy comes out. Bitcoin's taken a hammering. And a lot of the stocks have taken a hammering. I think Apple stock's down like 20% or something, right, in the last few days. And these link bait articles come out. If you bought Bitcoin last November, you lost 75% or whatever, of your money. Why would you do that? Why would you buy high and sell low? That doesn't make any sense. Can somebody explain to me why somebody would buy high and then sell low? Maybe they're a very short-term thinker. Maybe they don't have long-term thinking on their mind. But like if you bought stocks back at the high, the Dow was almost at 27,000 or whatever, right? So it's 24 something now. If you bought at the high and then you waited for it to come down like it has now, and then you sell now, that doesn't seem like a very good plan. But this link bait article is like, you've already lost the money, whether you've sold it or not. No. You haven't lost the money if you haven't sold it. If you hold, and then of course it's an if, the same thing with stocks, if it goes back up, then you're okay, right? It's just like if you sold during the crash of 2008, if you sold once the stocks all crashed and you sold, I had a buddy down in Florida that sold everything at the bottom. I mean, rock bottom. He sold everything, all his retirement money, everything, sold everything, and put the money in like CDs or something, right? Something where you get like 1%, right? And he was all happy because he got out of the stock market. I'm done with this. He got out of the stock market. And then some years later, then not only did the stock market come back, but it went even higher. And so he totally screwed himself. So people are, here's the thing. Money is always transferred from idiots to people that aren't idiots. That's the flow of money. All right? So if you're an idiot, your money's going to flow to somebody who's not an idiot. Money likes to be taken care of and coddled and held on to by somebody who is a good steward of the money. Right? It leaves people that have weak hands and that don't know what they're doing and that are a little bit stupid. It leaves them and migrates to these other people. And that's what we're seeing happening right now, is some money is migrating to people that are going to take better care of it. What is your favorite complication in a watch? If I was traveling between time zones, I would probably go for a GMT Master type watch where I can change that hour hand real quick. I could even do that on my Omega. That's another advantage to an Omega. Some of them you can change that hour hand. You can jump the hour hand back and forth. If you fly out to the West Coast, you can bump it back 3 hours. That's kind of cool. Complication, but I'm not into having like chronographs and all that kind of stuff, or perpetual calendars or all that. They must be Rolex speculators. Hi, what are the facts that make you state that the Rolex price beginning to drop? It's just, let's do a time check here. It's just anecdotal right now, but we're hearing reports of a softening market and a potential coming major adjustment. Things are kind of like pointing that direction. So, and we've had some people in the chat mention that they're seeing some indications that this may be the case. So it might not only be me. Again, I got that report that a Submariner date was at an AD for sale just yesterday. And my subscriber who reported this to me told me he was offered 10% off on a cash deal. And he contacted me and asked me if it was a good deal. And I said, I'd like to get 20% off if it was me, but given the fact that they're usually not in stock at all, I mean, getting any discount is pretty good if you really want the watch. And I think he was not really sure if he really wanted the watch. And I said, I wouldn't speculate on it, even if you can get 10% off. I mean, there's a cost associated with selling these things. If you put it on eBay, you're going to pay a percentage. If you have somebody else sell it for you, you're going to pay a percentage. If you sell it yourself, you're taking a risk. So there's costs associated with selling these things too. You need to throw away that Apple Watch. Hey, that Apple Watch is great for synchronizing. My grandfather always says, if you watch after the pennies, the dollars will take care of themselves. Well, your grandfather's a smart cookie. But the problem is nowadays people are just spending money that they don't even have. They're just buying stuff on credit, and the people are getting into a real pickle financially. And they're not in a situation to make the right decisions because they put pressure on themselves by being overextended. And so then they make stupid decisions and they end up a mess. If there's going to be a correction, it will be spring by the soonest. Yeah. As if Ryan. You don't have any clue when the correction's going to happen, just like nobody knows how low the stock market will go. If you knew these things, then you wouldn't be hanging out in this chat. You'd be on some beach with a Brazilian supermodel. Because you would be loaded. Every year Rolex shuts for the whole of December, and the festive season drives prices up. Well, we'll see. Good evening, sir. Good evening. Craig, regrets with your Bitcoin investment. What are your best 3 stocks to own and hold for the next, say, 15 years? No, I'm holding Bitcoin long term. I'm not a short-term speculator. So... And my Bitcoin's way up from what I paid for it. I bought it years ago. So I'm way up. Even at today's, it can go down to $1,000. I'm still way up, okay? So no, I have no regrets. And I am planning on holding the rest of my Bitcoin at least until 2024. Minimum 2024, maybe even longer than that. So no regrets there at all. Only regret I have is I probably should have bought even more than I bought. Bought quite a bit, but I should have bought even more. As far as stocks go, I do take Dave Ramsey's advice on that. I buy high-quality mutual funds, and I diversify. In other words, I don't have everything in one mutual fund. And I look for mutual funds with a long track record, at least 10 years, of beating the S&P 500. After all fees, I want more than 10% return a year. That's what I expect from my mutual funds. Now, this is over a long time window. This is not, in any 6-month period or 1 year period. This is like 5 years, 10 years time frames. So if you look at that, you would be in good stead, I think. That suit looks awesome. Greetings from Denmark. It's a cashmere sport coat. And I did put a link in the chat to a whole set of photos I have for luxury clothing, including the labels. So if anybody wants to try to snag some of these things at a deal on eBay or at some thrift store or something, I put in all the information on everything. And there's some more that I'm going to take some pictures of. I got some more clothes I got to get out of storage to wear because it's starting to get cold here now. So I've got some more stuff. I'll be putting some photos up probably over the next month or so. And I'll be adding them to that set. But there's quite a few in that set already. Dang, I'm late to the stream. What's this about Rolex prices falling? What did I miss? We had a report that somebody tried to buy a Submariner date that was actually in stock at an AD and they offered him 10% off. Okay, so Quartz watches. I've got this. I'm going to pull it down all the way here so you can see. I've got this Grand Seiko dress watch that is the 9F quartz movement. That is a fantastic quartz movement. I love this watch. And I've got videos on my channel. Just search 18K for 18 karat gold, and you'll see some videos of this and, of course, other gold stuff too, but you'll see this watch. I love it. It's a great dress watch. I can just grab it and put it on. It can sit for 3 days. I don't care. I just grab it, put it on. It's spot accurate, dead accurate. And it's got no date on it, so if the month has less than 31 days, I don't have to worry about it. Wow, that's tough to believe. Okay. If everyone listens to you and lives within their means, they will be rich and happy. Yeah, they invest and save and invest, save and invest. So you're claiming prices are falling because one person saw one sub in one store. Seems legit. There you go, Ryan. Ryan is starting to Ryan's starting to get it. He's a little bit slow on the uptake. He's got a generic icon, you know. He doesn't even know how to upload a photo to Google so that he can have like his own photo next to his name. So he's a little bit slow, but he's starting to get a few things straight. Give him time. He'll come around. A little bit of counseling. We can't push him too hard, though. Thanks for your previous comments relating to investments in watches not being a true investment. I've since bought stocks. Okay. But you have to hold them for a while because right now we're in a little bit of a bear market. And it's hard to time the market. You know, it's best to just buy on a regular basis. They call that dollar cost averaging. So you'll buy when it's low, you'll buy when it's high. It all kind of comes out in the wash. I know an AD that has had the brand new Deep Sea in stock for a month. Wow. Well, that's right there. I mean, you can't get more accurate information than that. That's coming from Eric, and he doesn't blow smoke up your tutu. Now, he will tell you that a Tudor's a decent watch, but that's just poor judgment. He's not knowingly lying to you. He just needs a little bit of, he needs his radar calibrated a little bit. He's just a little bit off on some of these things. But we'll get him straightened out. Hi, Craig. This is Eugene from Sydney. Finally, I got on your live chat. I like your style, and I like all the stuff you're talking about, and I'm your big fan. All right. From Sydney. Hell yeah. Where is Pedro? I miss him. Yeah, he'll come in here in a little while, probably. He'll come in here, be fit to be tied. I call BS on that person saying they're offered 10% discount on a sub unless they have been a long-time customer of that ID. Most people are on waiting lists for sub dates, but that's starting to change, Durr. That's starting to change. The market is starting to soften. We're starting to see indications, including this report from Eric. And he says, the black deep sea has always been a dog. Ryan says. Ryan is a cluster, you know what. I have a 40 millimeter day date, 2017, brand new. They gave me a 25% discount. Absolutely. Absolutely they would on a gold watch like that. Absolutely. Well done. I wonder if they'd have given you 30 if you'd have asked for it. I got as much as 40% one time on a white gold day date many, many years ago. That had been in their place for 2 years. They hadn't sold that watch. Nobody wanted to buy a white gold day date. And so I offered him 40% off on a 2-year-old price, and they took it. Of course, it was a cash offer. It was a neat watch. I think I paid $2,200 for it. It really depends on your location. I was on holiday in Como in Italy. There's only one Rolex AD, and he had 2 sub date, 1 no date, and the new red Sea Dweller. I bought the sub date, but no discount. So see, he says Now, when was this? He says, here's a dealer that had them in stock, just sitting there. All right? I mean, you know, I'm not making this stuff up. You guys think I'm making this stuff up? You're very, very American and such a gent. I'm British. I appreciate that. Thank you, Jason. Thank you. I like a lot of the British stuff. A lot of my clothes are made in England, made by the Englanders. I like English stuff. You mean when a watch is a dog? It means I would pass on it. Your gold GS is superb watch and works really well with that wear. I'm really liking the GS quartz. The new GS GMT quartz would work well with my spring drive as a 2-watch collection. Absolutely, Richard. But get something that you can really wear as a dress watch situation. Get one that's thin enough. You know, they've got that one that's got the rice bracelet that's really thin, that limited edition one. They got some Grand Seiko quartz that are really thin that'll work in a dress situation. Think of Seiko Kinetic models. It was July. Okay, well then it was a while ago. Since I love my smaller dress watches enough to buy luxury, would it make sense to buy a Datejust 36 as my one luxury watch and keep my cheaper sport watches for casual and sport use? I think so. I love the Datejust 36, and you can get a hell of a deal on one. You can get a hell of a deal on one. It'd be nice if you could find one that from the original owner. Hunt around a little bit. That'd be nice if you could pull that off. Then you'd know all the history of it and everything. When was the last time you ate potato chips, either in your basement or elsewhere? It's been a long time since I ate potato chips. I will put on weight very easily if I eat things like that. Everybody in my family, most of them are overweight. So I have a proclivity to put on weight if I'm not careful. So when I'm at a party or something like that and that kind of stuff is around, I will eat some of it, but I don't keep it around the place here because otherwise I'd eat too much of that kind of stuff and I'd be big as a house. That's how it works. How many watches are in collection now, Craig? I only have 2 watches in my regular rotation right now. The Diver, and let's do a time check on that. Wake up the Apple Watch. There's the Diver, and then, of course, the dress watch, which I have on my wrist right now, and the 18238 day date is parked. It is not in rotation right now. Okay, so we'll go back here. You are a gentleman, Mr. Ship. Well, there you go. The tick on your GS reminds me of gold-plated Citizen. Glad we have good taste. There we go. GS launched a U.S. exclusive watch collection. The work on the dial is amazing. Oh, yeah. The Rolex Datejust is the dog of the line next to the current model Air King. Yeah, the Datejust is a fantastic, just timeless, classic watch. If I hadn't discovered Grand Seiko and I wanted to buy a steel Rolex today, a steel Rolex right now today, it would probably be either an Oyster Perpetual, no date, or a Datejust. Probably one of those two. British design, amazing hi-fi gear. There's a company called Chord Electronics that makes amazing amplifiers and digital to analog converters. I own the portable one myself. Cool. The 9F in that gold GS can even be adjusted by oneself if it loses accuracy because of aging. Yeah, but it probably won't. It's 10 years old and it's still dead accurate. It's insane how good these watches are. Craig, Eugene again, tell me a little more about the problems. Worse, gold date bracelet. I'm thinking about a used one. What can be a problem, and rather, is it possible to fix it? Yes. Yes, the older ones will have what we call stretch, where you'll actually, it usually is the pins that go through from the outer links and go through the center links. It's usually those pins that end up bent, tell you the truth. But in any event, you end up with extra space between the links and extra play over time, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And some are a lot worse than others. And I had the first watch I bought had a fair amount of play, but I still wore it. Didn't bother me. I still enjoyed the watch, and I got a good deal on it because of the play. So just know that it's there, and just make sure you adjust the price accordingly. Don't absolutely not buy it because it's got some play in the bracelet, but just use that as a negotiating tool. I would try to find one that you know the history of the watch if possible, preferably one that was an original owner watch. Then you know a lot more about the watch and that it hasn't been through a bunch of hands and a bunch of people opening it up and playing with it. I'd want one really that had never been opened, never been serviced at all, would be my first choice. I don't care if it's 30 years old. That'd be great to me if it had never been touched. Because then, if I need to get it serviced, I can have it serviced. And I know who's servicing it. And I know what's done to it. Whereas if it's been through 5 owners and God knows what's been done to it, it's like a used car that's been through 5 owners. You don't know what the heck you're getting. Have you been to Japan? Do Japanese like Rolex more than GS? I've heard they do, but I don't know that for a fact. And no, I haven't been there. Okay. Rolex ADs only have oyster perpetual and Datejust anymore. Depends on where you are. The OP39 is good value as far as Rolex is concerned. Well, there you go. I'd buy a Datejust because these steel sports Rolex Instagram bros don't like it. There you go. And a Datejust is a much more practical watch than one of the sport watches, really. You can wear it all the time. You can wear it, you know, if you're dressed like I'm dressed right now, you could wear it. That's a big plus. Okay. And here's the thing. If you dress decently and you're out and about, you never know what opportunity is going to present itself. Okay? So you go out and you're dressed like a bum, you know, wearing a hoodie and beat up jeans and whatever. You just look like everybody else. There's nothing special about that. Anybody can do that. Anybody can pull that off, right? But if you go out and you look relatively sharp, you're relatively well dressed, that might open some doors for you, and that might create some opportunities for you that these other schmucks that are dressed like bums don't get. They don't get those opportunities. I was a much younger man. I tell you, I used to always ride in a limousine. I had a driver and so on, right? And I got out one time, and of course I was dressed to the nines, wearing a suit and, you know, dressed right, okay? I'll put it that way. Date on my wrist. I got out, and there was this gorgeous young lady there. I mean, she was freaking gorgeous. And I'm not that great looking a guy. I never was, right? But I get out, and there's these other yamokes like milling around and stuff, and I was going into some club or something. I forget what I was doing, you know. And she likes starts some conversation with me. I mean, like, oh, where are you going or whatever. I mean, you know, just like out of the blue. I mean, now if I was dressed like a yamoke and I pulled up in like a 1974 Nova, Chevy Nova, she wouldn't have given me a second look. That's the deal on all that stuff. That's just the way it works, okay, people? Do you think Grand Seikos will appreciate over time? Why would you care? A watch is not an investment. How many times do I have to say that? Do not consider a watch as an investment. Buy it as a tool to wear and use, and if you ever sell it and you get some money back out of it, just consider that gravy. For the uninformed, Rolex, SS, dogs, Explorer 1 and 2, Air King, Yacht Russia. Okay, Ryan. Thing keeps jumping on me. I was disappointed. Right, okay. I was disappointed today when I heard you completely discard Breitling. They have a significant history, and until very recently was one of the few independents left. Check out their new. I just don't have any need for it, Jason. I mean, I'm not going to buy any of those what I call no-name watches. There's a ton of them out there. I'm taking a closer look at Omega, but I think really Rolex, between Rolex and Grand Seiko, I don't really know that you have to look any further unless you want to go high-end dress watch and get like a Patek. I mean, that I would say a nice Calatrava. Buying vintage Rolex Datejust. Try to find one from the original owner if you can. That'd be my advice with all the paperwork. My AD will not budge on MSI repair for 36 mil OP. Have you tried offering cash money? If not, find another AD. Not like those watches are hard to find. But offer cash. Have cash money. And you got to get at least 10% off that. Come on. I mean, that's a given. Jubilee, Presidential, or Oyster. Which bracelet is the best? Well, the President bracelet's going to be on a day date or something like that. It's not going to be on very many watches. But if I was buying a Datejust, I would probably get the Jubilee with the white gold bezel. Yeah, that'd be cool. If it had the smooth bezel, I'd probably go for the Oyster bracelet. Here's from Eric. If anyone wants that Sea Dweller and is in the Chicago area, email me and I will tell you which AD. Well, there you go. He's going to hook you up. Thing keeps jumping on me. All right. I would agree with you about all of those except 16570 Rolex Explorer 2 Polar. They have seriously increased in value over the last 2 years, but current model Explorer 2, 100%. Give it all time. This will all come out in the wash. Yes, sir, my list applies to current models. Cannot find 165 70s for less than 4 to 5 grand now. Got mine 2 years ago for 2.5K. I wear no date sub with suits. I primarily wear jeans and sneakers for comfort. You better have some loose shirt cuffs to wear that thing underneath them. You wouldn't wear that underneath this shirt cuff. This barrel cuff here by Turnbull and Asher. You wouldn't fit that puppy under that. Wouldn't happen. You'd have it like out here in front of it and like pushing it and stuff. It'd look like garbage. Okay. Ryan, that's a steal. Great buying. The new Pepsi root beer is at the top of the hierarchy. I heard they're getting soft, though. Rolex Polar Explorer is pretty hot. Does the president of Japan wear Grand Seiko like our presidents wear the Rolex? I don't think the most recent presidents are wearing a Rolex Date 8. I know Obama didn't wear one, and I don't think Trump wears one. So there's that. Why would you need a driver? Isn't that a waste of money? Well, I traveled a lot of places where parking was an issue, and so it was convenient, to be able to have a driver and let them go somewhere and sit, while I was wherever, and I could just call them and say, hey, I'm coming out, and they just pull around, and you don't have to worry about parking and all that stuff. And also, you can ride other people in it, and we used to pull the jet boat behind it, and so when we taking people out to the boat, it was a 7-passenger limo, so, we could fit more people. It was sort of like you would use an SUV today, but we were using a limo. I think it's got a little more class, a little more style than an SUV. I'll show you a picture of it. I'll show you a picture of it. Here we go. We'll pull up a picture. A picture of the limo. What do you think? Picture of the limo. Oh, here's me washing off the boat, and I'm wearing a Rolex. That's the back end of the limo there, hooked up to the jet boat. That's my cousin to the right. He was wearing a Sea Dweller. And I'm wearing, you can't see it in that picture, I'm wearing a Rolex. Let me see if I can find another picture of the limo. Oh, here's my registration for it back in 1987. There you go. 77 Cadillac Limousine. I bought it. The original owner was General Electric, and it was one of their vice presidents used it. And here in this picture here, the limo's in the background behind us. See it behind us there? And I'm wearing a Date 8 Rolex Date 8. People say, well, you didn't really wear Rolexes for years. You're just lying. You never had a Rolex. You didn't wear a Rolex when you were younger. You don't know anything about Rolex. That's what they say, the trolls. That's what the grinders say. So let's see here. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what else we got here. Okay. Let's see what else we can pull up here. That looks like a limousine to me with 1239 on the tag, a reserve Virginia tag. The governor, by the way, issues any tags below 2,000 in Virginia. He issues them, his office. There was a young lady by the name of Patricia Smith who would take care of those. They literally had a filing cabinet in the office where they had 2,000 files, and they kept the information on each person that had one of those reserve tags in there, and they weren't even in the regular DMV computer. And if you ever got stopped for speeding or something like that, and the police run the tags, it would say, no information available, contact the governor's office, VIP use. And the cop would know, okay, let's just leave them alone. Let's just not even bother to mess with them. So we could basically drive as fast as we wanted. That's the way that all worked. So that's what you got. Okay, let's see what we got. We got to catch up on these troll comments. Give me a second here. I'm going to catch up. I'm pretty overloaded on Rolex. Okay, Ryan's on the case. My watch, his dress. My watch, my dress watch is well and alive. Okay. Breitling may not be accepted. Okay. Trying to catch up here. You're correct. A watch is not an investment. Okay. Man, there were a lot of comments. I'm trying to get back here to where why would you need a drive? Okay, there we go. That's the last comment I saw. Okay. In my opinion, the Datejust is all the watch you will need. If you need a chronograph, second time zone, etc. Okay, good point. Craig, should I put all my savings into steel sport watches? Yeah, if you want to lose all your savings, absolutely. If your day date is out of rotation, why haven't you sold it? Sentimental reasons. I just haven't bothered. It's a hassle to sell something like that, and I just haven't bothered. And plus, I might want to wear it sometime. The dress watch is dead. Well, that's because a lot of people don't dress, and that's their problem. And that's why those that do dress can be more successful, because there's a lot of yamokes out there that don't dress. There is a YouTube channel called Gentleman's Gazette that focuses mainly on classical men's style. Maybe you want to check it out. I don't think I need to. Just saying. Craig, you're 61. Have you not realized that Material wealth doesn't bring you respect or happiness. A limo, good for you. You have a gold Rolex, so what? Here's the thing, Ryan. Okay, you're an idiot, all right? So we'll start there. And here's the thing. If you plan properly and you take care of yourself and you invest and you save and you build wealth, you can be healthier. You can eat better. You can exercise properly. When you need health care, you can get the best possible health care. There are a lot of benefits to taking care of yourself and being successful and building wealth. Now, if you don't want to do that, that's up to you. That's fine. Stay poor, stay in the basement, in your mom's basement, and when she dies, hopefully you can move into somebody else's basement, okay? And if that's the way you want to live, that's fine. Do it. I just don't choose to live that way, and maybe there are others that don't choose to live that way. This is a materialistic, capitalistic society. You either go with the program or you get left off to the side, okay? And there are a lot of opportunities in this country to make good money and to be financially secure and to do something you enjoy doing. The work I do to make a living, I happen to enjoy, okay? And having the tools it takes to do the job and do it right, my clients appreciate that. They appreciate when I roll in with all the right gear and I do a good job for them and so forth. And they're willing to pay for that. All right. And that gives you something called self-esteem as well. And so therefore you don't become suicidal, which you may be, Ryan. You may actually be suicidal because you've got mental problems. But here's the thing. Don't chastise other people here in the chat that might want to be more successful than you and might want to get their act together and have a decent, healthy life. So there's that. There's my preaching to Ryan for the day, trying to straighten his sorry butt out. Here's the thing. Never measure a man by the watch on his wrist, nor what he wears. A gentleman rides way above that. Everybody judges by your appearance. Don't think they don't. You go in for a job interview or something, and you're full of tattoos and nose rings and so on, and you're wearing a hoodie and a beat-up T-shirt, and you smell like you haven't had a bath for a week, just see how well that goes for you. Ryan's run into that problem. It doesn't matter if the dress watch is dead. You probably shouldn't buy a watch because other people tell you that you should buy that model. You should buy what works for you. Absolutely, these are tools. These are nothing but tools. They're not a piece of art. They're tools. They're an accessory. Just like the DuPont pens, okay? They're just an accessory. All right, just like a nice set of gold cufflinks if you're wearing French cuffs, right? It's just an accessory. That's all it is. Yes, does less than nothing for me. Have you ever seen one, Captain? You're correct. A watch is not an investment. I own several vintage Rolexes, bought them cheap, but they are now worth a lot more. Fine. You did good. But in most cases, if you would have invested that money in something else like stocks or real estate, you would have done a lot better. You'd have got a much better return. Very few people make money on watches of any kind of significant return. Remember, a good investment should double every 7 years. So if you've had those watches for 21 years, that amount of money should have doubled 3 times. 3 times. Now, my buddy who has the red sub, he may have done okay, and I sold that red sub to him in the early 80s. He's probably done okay because he happens to have a model that just is really hot and really desirable right now. That might not be the same in 10 years. And you don't know if you made money on that investment until you realize the investment. In other words, until you sell them and turn them into cash, then you know how much money you made. Just because they're at a certain level right now, if you don't cash that out, doesn't mean that you made that money. And it also, if your stocks are down in value and you don't sell them, doesn't mean that you've taken that loss. That's the way it works. Okay? Don't confuse these things. Don't get confused. Breitling may not be. Okay. My dress watch is well and alive, and I enjoy it. There you go. Ryan's on the case. Yeah, Ryan's got problems. I'm pretty overloaded on Rolex. There you go. A lot of people are getting overloaded on them, and I think that's why the market's getting soft. Obama wore shitters. There you go. Rolex isn't highest tier of watch. There you go. Obama wore Raymond Weil. Okay. Obama wore his mother's jeans. There you go. That explains a lot. Okay. Have you heard of Strapcode? Yeah, I heard they make some good stuff. Yeah, I heard they make some good stuff. But you buy the high-end one. They have them at different price points. Buy the more expensive one. I think you really get a really nice one. Obama wears a Cellini now. Well, there you go. What a show-off, this guy. Ryan, what an idiot. These trolls, you know, they say, oh, yeah, you didn't do that. You didn't have that. You didn't. And then I show a photo of it, you know, calling them out, right? And then they're like, oh, you're showing off. Because they've been, like, owned. And razor wire are great. And I thought Archie was mental. There you go. Archie's a nice guy. I like Archie. Let's see here. Doggone it, the thing just jumped on me again. I got to get through these comments, and then I'm going to wrap this damn thing because I want to eat. I'm going to go eat. I like your content. Keep up the good work. Where is it? Looks like it was a 7-passenger sedan. Yeah, it did not have a division window. Well, it had it. I think. Yeah, it did not have a division window. It had the jump seats. It was a 7-passenger sedan, which I prefer because we were more using it like to socialize and stuff like that. And you know, it's not. And also, it's more comfortable to drive without the division. I had a 73 Cadillac limousine with a division. And that was okay too. Okay, here we go. Now hopefully I can catch up. And I thought Archie was mental. Okay, there you go. What GS as a GMT quartz can be worn more as a dress watch, Craig? Can't seem to find anything unless it's not available in the UK market. Well, all the quartz models are thinner. I think the GMT that they just released is about 12 millimeters thick, and I don't know if there's something like that available in the. But if you get something that's 12 millimeters thick, you're probably going to be able to wear it for most dress purposes. I wouldn't want anything thicker than 12 millimeters. No one cares about you wearing or not wearing Rolex. Ryan, no one cares about your comments, Ryan. I mean, my gosh, nobody cares about you either. I mean, I hate to break the news to you. I mean, they pretty much see you as a loser. Good term, grinders. Yeah, that's what he is. He's a grinder. Strange flex, but okay. That looks like a sedan. Okay, I just talked about that. Very nice car. What do you think about the new root beer? I don't like the maxi case. Doesn't it have the maxi case? I don't like that case. Back in the day, that was a limo. Well, it was actually a 7-passenger sedan. But yeah, I think it was, I mean, you could call it a limousine, but typically the limousine, they would have the division window, you know, but that's splitting hairs. Okay. Can't even spell troll. Ryan's got serious issues. I like your content. Keep up the good work, Craig. Okay. What do you think of the Orient Star watches? I don't really know anything about them. Sorry about that. Also, what do you think of Nomos? I don't know. I don't know anything about them either. Daniel Villa, that's not what your mom said. Doesn't like the root beer. I want one now. Okay. Stop asking him any questions. All he's going to say is get Grand Seiko, and obviously he has a conflict of interest. That's right, because I wear them. I wear them and use them. Brian LP, I'm not surprised since you think the date just is all you need. Here you go. My watches are not investments. I buy them at retail and treat them as a store of value that I can enjoy. They're not a store of value, Ryan. They're going down in value. You're going to lose your butt on your watches, okay? Just like everything else you've invested in, because you're an idiot, all right? You don't know what you're doing. You know nothing about money. Simple as that. But you can straighten all that out. Why don't you buy Dave Ramsey's book, Total Money Makeover? It's called Total Money Makeover. It's $10. If you can send me proof of purchase, I'll refund you the money. I'll send you the money. I'll PayPal you the money. You buy the book, Total Money Makeover, and send me proof of purchase, and I'll refund the money because I think you need help, and I'm willing to pay for it. Let's see. You definitely don't need to dress up for all industries. I work in tech and do very well, and I've never worn anything other than jeans, T-shirt, and hoodie. Maybe. Maybe. But most people can't pull that off. And a lot of people say that they'll do fine just dressing like a slob all the time. But trust me, if you tried dressing up a little bit, and I'm not saying you had to go crazy. I mean, you could wear like a button-down Oxford and depending on where you're working, what the temperature is. If it's kind of like a cool day, you could wear like a cashmere sport coat with an open collar, you know, and some nice Bill's khakis instead of the jeans. You know, 100% cotton Bill's khakis. They're real comfortable. They're made in USA. There's pictures of them on my channel. And you could take it up a notch or two. And trust me, people would notice that, and they would have more respect for you, and they would think you were special. Okay? What's really cool now is the bar has been lowered so much because so many people dress like slobs that you don't have to dress up that much to just be like way above them in the hierarchy, right? And women love when men dress up. They just do. And they might say, oh, I love it when you wear a worn out hoodie and you look like garbage, but they're lying. If you dress nice, if you take them out to dinner and you're wearing a nice sport coat, even if you're open collar, not a tie, just open collar, nice shirt, you know, decent watch, everything, nice shoes, they love it. They love it because that makes them look better. When they put on a nice dress or something like that, when you look better, they look better, and they love to look better. They don't like to be out with a slob, okay? And believe me, that's just the way of the world. You can be in tech all you want, and you can justify the jeans and the T-shirt and the hoodie, but that's basically, you know, dressing like a slob is the way it is. Wait, this isn't... I'm not sure what that is. Okay. Here comes Ryan again. Ryan, don't you have anything better to do, Ryan? A couple of live streams here and there is fine. Nobody can stand 24/7. There you go. Goes with your sake. Okay. If you have no debts, then you are free. And freedom is being financially secure to be independent of servitude. Well, yeah, and if you need to buy something, if you're in a bind and you know, you've got health issues and you need to pony up to get a better doctor or whatever the hell it might be that you need, it's nice to have a cushion of some money set aside. It takes a lot of pressure off. If you have no debts in the world, you have a nice solid income, then when you have a downturn, because you've got health issues or whatever, it doesn't put as much pressure on you. Okay? Pressure is not a good thing. Okay. Since no one is wearing a suit anymore, will it be easier for you to show up on the radar and look most professional in the room if you do wear one. Absolutely. Absolutely, if you dress nice. And you don't have to go overboard. Like I say, if it's a very casual environment, like the programmer, his environment's very casual, wear a cashmere sport coat and just a nice shirt and some khakis, some Bill's khakis, right? You'd look great with a nice pair of made in Maine moccasin style high-end boat shoes. You'd look great. Let's see. I own my own business, matey. There you go. This is not a watch channel. Correct. It is not a watch channel. Look at my videos. Go look at. This is not a watch channel. Sometimes we talk about watches. I admit I need to see a GS live. Absolutely. Looking like Elton John at his piano. Wonder who knows less about watches. There you go. Doggone it, the whole thing jumped again. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this daggone comments, and it keeps jumping on me. They need to re-engineer these comments. It shouldn't jump like that. How are your Seikos doing, Craig? Still prices are not... did I miss something? Okay, here we go. Archie is the only watch channel you ever need to watch. There you go. How are you Seikos? Okay. These trolls need to listen instead of getting jealous. Yeah, that's a good point. You leave Craig and his Grand Seiko alone. There you go. Have you seen the blue snowflake that Little Treasury has? What do you think? Not really a snowflake. Are you talking about the limited edition with that bluish dial? Yeah, I've seen it. It's a nice looking watch. I don't know if I'd buy that over the snowflake itself. And I'm not buying any more watches that don't have micro adjustments. I'll put it that way. The GS is running about 5 seconds slow next to his Apple Watch. No, it is not. I agree the GS is looking about 4 or 5. No, it's not. Craig loves cheap shitters. There you go. Anyone buy pre-owned from HQ Milton? I haven't. Polar. Happy Thanksgiving, Craig, and everyone on here, even the trolls. Yeah, we love our trolls. Think the new GMT quartz, Craig. Mine is 12.3 millimeters thick. Yeah, that's good. That's close enough. Like I say, I like it to be 12 or thinner. I bought Gordon Ramsay's book. Great book. Not Dave Ramsey's book. I thought you were talking about. I don't know who Gordon is. I might have an extra one. Haha, generous offer. There you go. I'm a very generous person a lot of times. The one guaranteed way to get rich is to spend less than you earn. That's right, and never go into debt. Add that on the thing. This guy's no watch expert, but he certainly is an expert at making enemies by insulting anyone and everyone who disagrees with him. Okay. Not anyone and everyone, just the idiots, Brian. You would qualify. What should I invest in during the economic downturn? Well, if you're sure that there's going to be a protracted downturn, then keep your money in cash. On the sidelines, they call that. But I'm not so sure this is going to be a protracted downturn. It's very hard to time markets. It's best just to keep investing and invest over time. They call that dollar cost averaging. So let's say you invest a certain amount each month, and you just keep doing it each month the same day. It's going to be up sometimes, down sometimes. It's all going to kind of average out. But the key is to invest and to start doing it. Most people don't do it at all. They never get started, and so they never get anywhere. What on earth do you know about women, Craig? Well, I've learned a little bit over the years. You got to watch yourself, I'll tell you that thing. You're talk about playing with fire. You think playing with watches is playing with fire. You play around with those women, you're definitely playing with fire. Bill's khakis are damn good, or even the Carolina version too. I like the Bills ones that are made in the USA. I don't know if they still make them in the USA or not. I heard some rumors that some of them are not. But that too, you can buy them in mint condition off of eBay for like 20 or 30 bucks. And they're much better than anything you're going to buy. And I'm talking in mint condition. And just make sure you get the right waist size. And then if you have to have them hemmed, have them hemmed. But those are fantastic. I've got about a dozen pairs of them. I love Bill's khakis. Super comfortable. Much more comfortable than wearing jeans. And I have jeans. I sometimes wear jeans when I'm going out to the rodeo or something. I'm wearing cowboy boots and stuff. Of course, I'm wearing alligator or crocodile Lucchese boots when I go out there. How much should I pay for good cufflinks? That's a good question. If you buy gold ones, like 18 karat gold ones, they're going to cost you several $100s, even if you get a good deal. It depends on what you buy. I think you can buy ones that are not gold for a lot less. And that's another eBay item that you can snag some on eBay because, again, a lot of people don't wear French cuffs anymore, so people are getting rid of cufflinks. So, there's kind of like a glut on the market of them. And especially people that had cufflink collections, that had a lot of French cuff shirts and they had a whole bunch of cufflinks and then maybe they passed away or something and their heirs are like, what the hell am I going to do with all these cufflinks, right? They put them on eBay. They don't have anything to do with them. They're not going to use them. They're like a guy in the hoodie and, he's not wearing French cuffs for God's sakes. I work in an academic-related environment, and I always show up to my job in chinos or dress pants, a sweater, and a collared shirt, usually polo. I never venture out without a collared shirt. Well, there you go. That's a good rule of thumb. Maybe Craig needs a banger's visit with Archie. I'm not sure what that means. How much you earning, Ray? What that means. Without my Rolex, I get laid in the third date. With it, it's the first date. With the GS, she'd throw up a little and ask to leave early. I'd be worried, Ryan, about, what permanent things she's leaving behind with you. How eat up you are with various kinds of the clap and stuff like that. That's what I'd be worried about if I was Ryan. You're playing with fire, big boy. Laying down with those tramps. I wear a hot dog costume with a James Cameron Deep Sea and a pair of flip-flops, and the chicks dig it. Show up in the room, I've noticed too. There you go. What a loser. Who has more mental issues, Archie or Craig? That's a good question. Probably Craig. Absolutely. With dealing with all you trolls, I mean, think about it. I'm like absorbing all of your lunacy, right? It's like all gravitating to me, and I've got to like filter it out. I'm like the liver, right? Trying to filter out all the alcohol out of the systems, and it's just not working well. There's too much of it. Too much lunacy in the room. Okay. Craig does not have mental issues. He's just a boomer. It's not his fault. There you go. I'm trying to get through these comments so that I can wrap. Think they might be brothers. Haha, Craig doesn't know who Gordon Ramsay is. No, I don't. All these trolls and Pedro need to go. Where is Pedro? Imagine considering Craig an enemy since he disagrees with you. Well, there you go. Unreal. Some of these trolls. No, they're very real. Trust me, they're real. And their mom knows it. Generosity is good. What goes around comes around. Absolutely. Good night, Craig. Getting a little late in the UK. Great live feed as always. Well, thank you, Richard, for watching. Does Rolex help you get laid? I'm sure it can. Absolutely. Don't let anybody tell you that chicks don't care about you being successful and thinking that you might be well heeled and be able to take care of her in her old age. Women all are concerned about their security and having somebody that can take care of them. E.g., you have some money, and don't let anybody tell you they're not thinking about that. Should have bought Chinese. There you go. Tell us how the plaid pattern needs to be matched correctly on a jacket like yours does. What I do is I just lay down the jacket and the shirt and the tie and just make sure it looks okay to me, and I don't really care what it looks like to other people. But in this case, the jacket is pretty loud. I mean, it's kind of making a statement, so the tie is a little bit understated. I could have also gone with just a solid color tie. That's always safe. I could have gone with the light blue shirt and just a dark blue solid color to even be a little safer. But this kind of a pattern also works, I think. It's just really what you think works and makes sense. Nobody's going to come up to you and say, oh, that tie clashes with that too. I mean, they're not going to do that. I mean, first of all, most people don't even know these days, but you'll know if it looks right to you. You'll kind of know. And as you progress and dress and all that, you'll get a feel for this, for what looks okay, I think. But you can't go wrong. You buy a really high-end sport coat, really high-end cashmere, and it's going to probably look decent. I mean, those people that tailor that and that create that are not going to do it wrong because they're trying to sell that sport coat for a lot of freaking money, right? Now, some of them are ugly. Some of them are just an ugly color, like some bright green or something just really off the wall that you would wear like on pictures of all the labels of a bunch of high-end brands in that photo set that I shared earlier in the chat here. And I'll try to remember to put it in the description of the video once we wrap also. So it'll be there. Email, CraigShipp@gmail.com. Okay, so yeah, it did crash. My Video Pro crashed the streaming again. This has happened before, and it's interesting. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. And when it happens, I've got to reboot it, which takes a couple minutes for it to reboot itself. And then I've got a re-handshake with the phone to control it, and I got to start the broadcast again. And so I just did this long enough so that I can wrap the broadcast properly, because if I don't wrap it properly, then it won't process, and it won't, it'll just think it's an ongoing stream. So anyway, yes, I'm back, but I'm going to terminate. I'm going to terminate the broadcast, as I just came back long enough so that I can officially terminate it. So anyway, thank you, everybody. And again, go back to Monday night's show of Sarah and let her know that you support her show, Cowgirls Live, and give her some encouragement to continue to do her show, Cowgirls Live. And we will see you next time. We might even be doing a Thanksgiving Day broadcast. We'll see how that goes. If not, maybe Friday. So there you go. We're going to stop this broadcast right about now. Thank you, everybody.